this is like, you can't go to McDonald's and be like, let's go ahead and send me an invoice in the mail. And meanwhile, you're consuming their product and not paying for it. Like, there's no business out there where you can go into their business and shop with them, unless you're a large commercial account.
Yeah.
There's no business out there where you can go in there and shop with them and them not collect money. We spend thousands of dollars a month on excavator rental. Okay.
Do they send you once a month, don't they?
No. They bill, my credit card is on file with them. And the moment they pick that excavator up, they send me an emailed paid invoice where they have billed my credit card for it.
Nice.
So everybody does this except you. The person listening to this going, oh shit, I guess I should start collecting, right?
Yeah.
And what's funny is a lot of business owners, they get themselves in so deep into this where they're creating excuses. It's really a lack of personal accountability. They're creating excuses for themselves. They're extending the terms out to these other people so that they can have an excuse on why they foreclosed on their own business in a few years. Well, so-and-so didn't pay me. Well, so-and-so got behind on their bills. Well, so-and-so got me strung out for, $87,000 in 3 new construction jobs. And it's like, no, you never put your foot down and you enabled all of that to happen.
Yeah.
Should everybody, like, this is like a dumb question, but it's out of pure curiosity. Should everyone, no matter what business you have, do the card on file thing?
I mean, no, because there's actually
it's not black and white either.
Well, there's some legal
either.
rules, some national laws that you have to abide by to keep cards on file.
Oh, okay.
And so we don't keep cards on file that we can access. Our credit card processor keeps the card on file. And I can refund on that card all I want, but I cannot go back to that card and charge more without the customer's authorization. And so, but there's a whole lot of rules there with cards on file and everything else. And so, we rent our excavators from Bobcat. Bobcat's a giant national company.
Yeah, it's different.
They're going through the hoops to appeal by those rules and all of that stuff. But if you're a 1 or 2 or 3 man show, you do not need to be card on file for anything.
It's just payment right then, right there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
They tip the DoorDash guy.
Yeah.
They have ways to pay.
Yeah.
Absolutely have ways to pay.
Yeah.
So
I will say we're going to move on again, but you were bringing up the new construction thing. And I think we talked about this. We either talked about this in a TradeWinds group or on here. I don't remember. But if the contractor's borrowing money to get you paid, they have to put draws in. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one area of where you're going to have to wait. Right.
Yeah.
But if you don't get paid that month and you let that guy send you to another job and another job and another job, you're 100% right. That's on you.
Yeah.
Stop doing that shit.
Yeah.
Those guys are scumbags. Okay.
And ultimately, the guy's a scumbag for stringing you along, but you're lazy for allowing it to happen. You're literally allowing a scenario to take place for you to put the blame on the guy, on the contractor, instead of taking accountability and ownership for the situation you allowed to be created.
Well, what you were saying about just the initial thing of you're being lazy. Yeah. The laziness comes into play where you're looking at you're at your office, you're looking at the invoice and you're like, this guy's 5 days late. And what you say to yourself is, I'll give him 2 more days.
Yeah.
I'll give him 5 more days because 2 reasons. You're either lazy or you don't like conflict.
Yep.
It's one of those 2 things. Whichever one you fall under, get over it. Figure out, hey, do I need to learn to be more assertive?
Right.
Do I need to learn to take initiative the day after I see that check's not here? What is it? There's a problem in there. And if you overcome those 2 things and you're like, no, I'm an asshole, I'm assertive, I have no problem calling, you're calling and you're still getting the runaround, that guy's down the road. Go look for more work somewhere else.
You just hit on the biggest problem surrounding this. Being direct and assertive does not make you an asshole.
No.
But most people think it does.
Well, most people in general are afraid of conflict.
Yes.
They just are.
They're afraid to have a
tough
direct
conversation.
It's not even a tough conversation. They're just afraid to be direct, right?
Yeah, of
the
course.
terms were you would pay me
People
net
are
30.
soft.
It's now 32 days.
Where's my fucking money,
I
bro?
fulfilled
Damn
my
it.
end of the I fulfilled my end of the obligation.
Yeah.
You didn't fulfill yours, right? Now, let me give you a real world scenario with this.
Yeah.
With this
Dude,
Johnson,
I see it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm bringing up, these are specific examples I see all the time when I'm talking to guys.
I'll give you a real world scenario with this. So this JOCO program that we're doing with these sump pumps, the terms are net 21. They are supposed to electronically deposit the funds within 21 days of them receiving the invoice. Well, we send the invoice out the moment we complete the job. Okay. So we get the first round of jobs going. And obviously there's always a little bit of a learning curve up front. So you're going to be a little bit more forgiving, right?
Yeah. You've got to develop that relationship of, hey, when stuff's coming in, when it's going out, when am I getting paid, all that stuff. Yeah.
And so we did like 3 jobs back to back to back to back to back, like 3 days in a row. And so now we're 21 days away from completing the first job and I don't have payment. And I'm like, well, maybe they're bundling the checks because we did 3 back to back. Maybe they're bundling the checks together. So I let it go like 25 days from the date of completion on the first one, which puts it at 22 or 23 days from the date of completion on the third one. And I still don't have money, right? And so, so now I'm calling the program.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we've got that. It took us a couple of days to receive your invoice. I know you sent it on this day, but we didn't actually receive it until this day. It's our system's new. We're having a hard time getting the invoicing out of it. Again, new kinks and everything else. And so then now we're, 27, 28. Now we're over 30 days. Okay. Yeah. So now they're 9 days late. And I've literally built our company to handle a larger volume of this work than any of the other plumbers in the program. And I don't know this at the time, but I feel like we are doing more work than any other plumber in the program. And so I had to call the program up and I had to have that tough conversation with them and just direct, right? I'm not being an asshole or anything else.
Yeah.
I was able to say like, hey, I fulfilled my end of the obligation. My business is not set up to finance the county on these repairs. Yeah. So
we're running out of time here, peeps.
I told him flat out, I'm like, if you guys can't get this payment thing back into the contract we all signed to where it's net 21, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do any more work for you. And they were like, hold on, let me just call a couple of people, whatever else. So within a couple hours, here comes another phone call. And they tell me they removed 7 signatures out of the process to get us paid.
Nice.
And now they'll get it on time. Here's the fucking crazy part. 7 signatures.
I know.
This is a heavily government oversighted project.
It's government. Yeah.
Like we've already been vetted even to be able to do the work.
Yeah.
And then it went through like 7 steps to even get the individual jobs approved. And now we've got more steps involved to get us paid.
Yeah.
They removed 7 signatures out of the payment. How many signatures do you think are left?
2.
Probably 7 more.
If there's that many,
I'm not kidding you. I'm serious.
I don't want to go on a tyrant here about government work, but that is like the whole reason that it's just it's ridiculous. Like you wonder why a hammer costs the government $700. That's why.
Yeah.
Because it's got to go through 80. There's so much paper. They cut down 84 trees.
Yeah.
To get that one fucking thing done.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Well. So then here we are like 2 months into.
It makes me so mad, dude.
We're like 2.5, 3 months into the program, and they have like this meeting of all the plumbers and the big wigs and everything else, kind of like a checkup of like,
oh, okay,
how are we doing? What's working well? What's not working well? And all this stuff.
We talk about a lot. You didn't tell me that. Okay.
And so I go to that meeting, and I know exactly how much work. Like I keep tabs on all this shit.
You're
and
like
I know
me. Like the books are to the penny.
Yeah. And I know exactly how much work we've done with them and everything else. Yeah. And
did you walk in there with your folder like, what's up?
Well,
like,
no.
Let's get into it.
3 months in, we had done about $100,000 in work, right? And so here we're sitting at this meeting, and the program's like, all right, total overall, the program's done $200,000 in work, and we couldn't have done it without you plumbers, and we really appreciate you guys and everything else.
I did half of it.
And all I heard was 8 plumbers in the program, and I did half of it.
Yeah.
Our company.
That means
not
7
me,
other guys did what you did.
Well, it also proved why they moved so quickly whenever I told them that we're not going to be able to keep doing this if you can't fulfill your end of the obligation.
Yeah.
It's because they were going to lose the plumber that was capable of doing 50% of the work.
Yeah.
Right. And so.
Well, and they wanted you to, like people that haven't listened to other podcasts, like they wanted you to do the work to start.
Right. Right.
You know.
But ultimately, that's what comes.
have a go-to. You were the go-to.
Oh, that's what comes from not being fearful of having those direct conversations.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so don't cower down on that stuff. Have the direct conversation. If you agreed to payment terms, hold them accountable to the payment terms.
Yeah.
Payment is not on Fridays. Payment is every day.
We're going to move on. I got just two little things and we'll roll on. The young guys in Trade Winds and the young guys listening to this show, and I'm sure I think I was probably this way. Like, Mitch knows me. I'm not afraid of conflict. Like, I'm not.
Right.
I love it. Like, it fires me up. It gets my blood moving. But even I would be like, oh, man, I don't want to piss them off because I want to make sure I'm maintaining that work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like a fear factor.
Yeah.
You have to get over that stuff, guys.
Right.
You just have to. We talk about it in Trade Winds. You have to get – sometimes you got to be I don't want to say a jerk, but you're going to feel like you're a jerk even though you're not because you're being direct. That's just something you have to do as a business owner.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
Right.
Do you ever and I only did this less than 5 times, doing big projects like that where terms, where there are actual written terms and you've signed them. Like, I went in there and added, hey, if you don't pay within, they were all 30. It was like, hey, it's 10% within the first week.
Yeah.
It's 12%. And have you ever done any of that? I
can
did
do
it a
that.
handful of times.
Yeah, you can do that on like business to business contracts.
And it was big jobs. Mine were big jobs that I was doing.
You're not going to be able to pull that off on like government contracts.
No,
simply because there's enough people pursuing those contracts. They're just gonna they'll move on to the next one there.
Usually it's someone you know, or it's a really on 2 of mine. They were projects that were so big. If I didn't get paid, it was going to break me.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, regardless, I'm putting this in here. If you want me to do it, this is how this is going to work.
Yeah.
Like, and I had a lawyer. It wasn't a lot. I think it was like $1,000 to have this drawn up.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a big deal. That's just something to think about. Like, if you're getting involved into something that's really big and over your head as financially wise, like it's going to break you if you don't get paid. Like, that's something to deal with. Or you can always have people sign lien waivers.
Yep.
You know, especially if you're going to have them pay for material. That's just something we're not going to dive into that on this show, but that's something to think about.
Yeah.